Great. All right, guys, what I'm going to be sharing with you here in today's video is a real life client call. I want to run you guys through that so you can understand. They asked a bunch of amazing questions. They're from Florida, really good clients of mine. Really appreciate their viewpoints. We share a lot of similarities, so you probably do as well. So we're going to run you through this video, enjoy it, and try to learn a lot. Get a pencil and pen out because you'll be able to make a lot of different notes about different aspects of investing here. All right, enjoy it.
So here we go.
No problem. No, I was talking to a developer from Toronto. He was talking about how bad the market is in Toronto right now,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
it's kind of the same thing that's going on in the U.S. I think. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah,
We hear you just fine.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of the same thing going on. There's towers and buildings that are going up that are completely frozen, and they're seeing the bottom fall out of it. So they're kind of feeling the same way, like you guys are. And he is actually talking to me about the mass influx of Canadians that are talking to them about opportunities abroad. So that's why he was linking up with me to say, hey, I have an enormous amount of interest in the Dominican Republic, especially after this election that just happened. It was peaceful. There was nothing happened. There was no rioting. There was no issues. Everything. We went out for dinner last night, me and my wife, and it was
Well, yesterday you're saying.
the election was yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't even know that. We were just there.
I remember we were there. I saw a couple of posters of, Presidente this and that.
No,
and I didn't realize
No,
it
they were
was
pretty
that
aggressive.
close.
Pretty aggressive marketing. The marketing campaigns were pretty aggressive. There's no question about that. But it was peaceful. It wasn't riots. There isn't this big right and left wing kind of situation that's happening.
Like here.
Like same with Canada. Yeah, it's like everybody's pro business, pro tourism, pro middle class. They're building tons of affordable housing for the middle class. You see that all over the place. So there's a lot of positive in it. So the transition was easy.
A country that cares about its people always does better. It's a country that cares. That also think about the middle class and the people who don't have a lot of money. I mean, those are the countries that are going to be successful. I think you can't oppress the middle class because then you don't have people run.
You don't have a workforce. You don't have a workforce. You have nobody that's excited to work. Nobody wanting to work. Nobody that's spending money because the middle class is what spends the money in all these malls and buys homes and all that stuff. And right now, I feel we are here in the DR, similar to what Canada or the US was like in the 70s and early 80s. It was like an economy that was moving, and people are excited to get a job at Chrysler or Ford and do all this stuff. And you don't see that anymore. Now the steam is let out of that engine. So I think it's time to, you guys are smart, kind of like what I'm doing. I think it's time to leave the sinking ship.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. It's getting worse here
bad
in the U.S. Well, how do you think? I've been wanting to ask you this question and some other people over there. I know you're an investor and you live there. You've been there for years. What do you think? What kind of impact do you think is going to have in the Dominican Republic if this country, the United States, turns into communism and turns, into dictatorship after the election? Because that could happen. That's a very strong possibility. If it turns upside down, how do you see that's going to affect? Because I know you guys rely a lot on the tourism. I know not only the United States, but how do you see that could affect you guys over there?
And add to that, if the economy here goes down,
Yeah,
I understand the Dominican Republic and many other places in the Caribbean, their dollar value is kind of based on the U.S. dollar value. So add that to the question she just asked and see what you think about it.
Let me. So there's two things there. One is the economy crash in the U.S. What happens here, right? And the first part of it. Well, remind me what the first part of that question was, because that was a great question. I wanted to speak to that.
Yeah, if this after the elections, let's say this country goes upside down, where it turns into communism or whatever, dictatorship, which is what how it's going to affect. Because if that happens, a lot of bad things are going to happen. They're already happening. Bad things. The laws are passing. Have already passed. Are bad. So how do you think that's going to affect? The Dominican Republic.
The investment, let's say, like your investing in the Dominican Republic. So I think we'll talk about if things go sideways for in the U.S. What I've noticed is it seems like it follows suit. Hollywood seems to know what's going to happen before it happens, and then what they do, and this is just my own theory. I don't know if it's right or you agree. They prep you years in advance for what is about to come, and they put the movie out there. And they prep you. So when it happens, it's not such a shock. So a good example was COVID. what was it, 2 years before that, there was a movie that came out, Contagion. Contagion or something.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
haven't
Yes, I
watched
remember.
it since COVID, you should watch it because they literally
Mhm.
laid out the playbook. This is what we're going to do, and they did it. The new
Mhm.
movie, and what reason I'm bringing it up is a new movie that I saw in movie theaters because we went to a movie the other day here, Civil War.
I know. Civil War. Yes. I
They're
know.
laying it out. They're putting it out there.
Right.
So when it happens, it won't be as much shell shock. People will be reacting to it in a more, if you can say, in a manner that's less turbulent. So they're putting that out
Mhm.
there. So stuff like that, I believe, when I see it in the movies, is going to happen. Artificial intelligence. They
Well,
started doing that, what,
yeah,
10 years
a long
ago?
time ago.
Yeah.
Yes, we've always known that was coming too.
So I
Yeah.
think what you're saying is 100% right. So that being said, how's that going to affect us here? I think that's what's affecting us here now because people like you, you're not dime a dozen anymore. You are getting
Mhm.
closer to being the masses on how people are feeling,
Mhm.
and it's not just U.S. but Canada's right there. But it's not just
Mhm.
North America. It's France. It's Spain. It's all these
Mhm.
first world countries. People from Ukraine are investing here. People are leaving. People are leaving. So it's different. What you're seeing in North America, Canada especially, is you're seeing people that cannot afford to be in the country they're in, being shipped in to Canada. Okay, and I'm all for the humanitarian aspect of it. I'm just talking investment wise, though. So you're having people that have no money, no means to sustain or survive are being put into Canada, and Canada is expected to carry them. It's a noble thing, and I get it. Not good for investment, though. So what you're seeing reverse in the Dominican Republic is people that have a means, maybe a home that they can sell for 500,000, 600,000, a million, 5 million, whatever it is, selling those assets and bringing that money into the Dominican Republic. Why are they picking the
Mhm.
Dominican Republic? Because the Dominican Republic is not like Jamaica, where Jamaica's a little island in the middle of the ocean. Or you got St. Martin overpriced, right? They're overpriced. Some places are too small, some are overpriced. Dominican Republic is perfectly set up for what's happening in the world right now. It is the ideal spot. So everybody's identifying that. So if you see this Civil War stuff happening, by then, if you're still there, it's too late. That ship has sailed. So
Mhm.
you're probably going to be there for a while, is what I tell people. It's not like a scare tactic to make you buy real estate. It's just a reality.
Mhm.
Because when shit hits a fan, you can't fly. So
Yeah. Cash, one second. I'm sorry to interrupt you. But besides that movie you're talking about, the movie that I totally agree with you. But if you pay attention just to the laws, if you've been paying attention,
yeah,
okay, to what's going on in this country and to the laws that have been passed without the Republicans owning the House, the laws have been passed. If you're paying attention, you know what's coming. Okay, like I don't have.
for example,
We already been talking about this over almost a year and a half ago. Because we were thinking Portugal originally,
yeah, me
and
too.
then we just decided. So
Too
you know
close, too
we
close to Europe. Europe scares me a little bit too. It's a little chaotic.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that we know, but what I'm saying, we decided Dominican Republic for Punta Pat over there because it's proximity to the United States and a lot of other stuff, our kids and all that shit. But the point is that if anybody who's paying attention, who pays attention to what's going on, to the reality, what's going on, they're getting ready. People are selling, they're getting
Yeah.
ready. And that's the main reason because we have a beautiful house here. I told you that. You already know that. We never in our wildest dreams thought we were going to ever leave our house.
Like
But
the same thing. Yeah.
it's horrific. I mean, we're doing it. I didn't want to invest over there this way, but we don't have a choice because we're getting ready. We don't want to wait, and then we don't want to wait for our property to go down in value before we sell it too, because we have a very nice property here, which if we sell it on time, we'll be able to get
Yeah.
a lot of hopefully get really good money out of it. But we're scared about how long do we wait? Because
Yeah, we're not wanting to wait too much longer because
because
we
elections are
see
right.
this going down a
Yeah,
crapper.
this is going down really bad.
You know
here.
what? One thing that this one of these developers, I talked to a lot of people like high net worth individuals that have done very well for themselves in real estate and stuff like that because of the nature of the business I'm in. But one thing that I've heard a lot of them say, two of them actually said this. They said that better to be a couple years early on something like the Dominican Republic than be one day late. So
Mhm.
what
Yeah.
people are doing is they're kind of trying, just like the stock market, trying to time it out and thinking, okay, let me wait for the perfect exit. Let's see what happens in the election. But I think I hope it works out for people like that, but I just don't think it will. That's my opinion now. I just think the writing's on the wall. The laws are being passed. The framework is set for what is coming. It's just the illusion of it's
And they're
going to be
crystal
okay.
clear. They've been very
Yeah.
crystal clear about what they're going to do.
Yeah, they've not held back.
They put it all out there, and they're doing it without even owning the house. But they've been very crystal clear what they're going to do if they take control of the house.
Yeah.
So unless you're not paying attention, the people are going to be screwed. You know, like people who haven't gotten their passports yet. I mean, you're not going to be able to get a passport if that happens. It's going to take forever.
You got problems. Yeah. I think one thing
Yeah.
that kind of ties in with what we're talking about, this is something I'm going to start working on immediately, is my residency.
Again,
Mhm.
if the United States, okay, overturned, what do you think is going to happen? You don't think that because I think you guys are relying more on investment than tourism at that point, right?
No, that's the one thing I made a note I want to talk about. So what we saw during COVID, and this is where the Dominican Republic really took off, and this is where people said that's where they want to invest, is when airlines closed down and nobody could travel, nobody could fly. Countries like Jamaica, St. Martin, the smaller countries that rely solely on tourism because that is all it is. They suffered. Okay, everything closed down. What the Dominican Republic realized is how much affluence and wealth is within the country because Las Terrenas got basically introduced to the entire country during COVID because people in San Domingo who are very affluent, the population, we used to be, I think the number I read is 40% poverty has now gone to 25%. So that's a significant change. The amount of wealth internally in the country can sustain the tourism taking a dip and flights not happening. So Las Terrenas got introduced to the entire country and Las Terrenas took off. People started to realize that they can now leave the city and they can go into Punta Cana, they can go into CANA. So you start seeing all these real estate valuations start to go up because the country itself was able to sustain itself. So what I believe is going to happen, yeah, the tourism might pause, but the internal investment is going to continue. Because that's what we talk about.
It might grow more. It might grow more. It's probably going to grow.
It did grow more because the demand for it grew. So your property is worth more. Demand is growing more. Because have you been into Santo Domingo or where I'm at right now? I'm in Piantini. Have you been?
No,
I've been there before in the past on business, long time ago. But
I've never been.
But so San Domingo's large. So it's kind of like you could go into like a poorer, a less affluent neighborhood in San Domingo and say, "Holy shit, this is crazy." That could feel very third world. Or you can come where I'm at, which is Piantini, and you'll look around and you say, "Holy crap, we live in a third world." Because there's so much affluence here, there's so much money, there's small businesses are booming, big businesses. Rolex is here, all the big retailers are here, all the big car dealerships are here. Rolls Royce, Bentley, they're here. So just to give you an idea, there's a lot of wealth.
Where are they? In the capital? Where are they at? Where are they at?
If you type in Piantini, I'll type it to you and send it to you. I just use my other phone to call you.
What does PNT stand for?
No, okay, so yeah, I'll spell it for you. It's Piantini. Piantini. So not P-N-T. I'm gonna spell it.
Okay.
Do a quick
What does
search.
that mean?
It's a neighborhood. It's a neighborhood. Like living in what's that? Like living in Brickell. So what people are doing, so it's like Brickell. Piantini is a neighborhood within Santo Domingo. It is the upscale neighborhood in Santo Domingo. This is where the World Trade Towers are being built. So the World Trade Towers are about, I would say, a year away from completion. I did a couple videos on those. There's 3 massive towers going up. Center of commerce for the entire area. So all these things, I think when and if this happens in the U.S., in Canada, same thing I think is going to happen in Canada. The Dominican Republic is perfectly set up to not be affected in the nature of there'll be less tourists, but I think the economy will take off.
So the short of that is the Dominican Republic really isn't relying on the U.S. dollar, Canadian dollar, any of that for their own, for sustaining their economy, that they can self-sustain.
They can
what you're trying to say?
That's what I'm trying to say, but I can't say that they're not relying upon it. I don't know the macroeconomics component of that, but I know this country is self-sustaining and will continue to grow. I'm going to do a video, and I keep forgetting to do it. I don't know if you guys know, one of the biggest exports of the Dominican Republic is gold. So in my place that I live in, my condo here in San Domingo, I look out and I can see Barry Gold Mines. That's what it's called, Barry, B-A-R-R-Y. Barry Gold Mines, publicly traded company, one of the biggest in the world that mines gold. I can see exactly where they're doing it in the mountains. You can see a big cutout. That's about 2 hours from San Domingo. So That's one of the biggest exports. So for me, I think that's a big hedge against a financial collapse. If you are one of the biggest producers of gold in the world, I want to be in that country. Now, Canada, I guess, is also one of them. But Canada's politics are so sideways, it's a different situation. But the Dominican
And that
Republic,
brings up, go ahead.
I think the Dominican Republic is setting themselves up to be self-sustaining. A lot of the manufacturing, I was talking to another big investor in CANA, actually, who owns a oceanfront house that is for sale for, well, that one's not for sale. The one beside it is for sale for $13 million in CANA. He owns the one beside it. One of the biggest manufacturers of clothing for Walmart, all the Walmarts in the world. They were in China, and they're moving their operation to the Dominican Republic because of the different incentives that are put forth. So they're bringing that manufacturing because cost of labor is still dirt cheap. So that is coming here too. So I really feel strong about, and obviously I don't have a crystal ball, so I don't want like civil war in Canada, and then you guys say, hey, we're screwed here. What the fuck?
We know.
But
we're not gonna hold your feet to the fire on this. We know that, You've been there a long. How many years have you been there?
I've been here. So I've been looking at this market for before getting married. I've been looking at the market for probably about 20 years now. I've been here for 4.5 years. So I've been wanting to invest back and forth from Canada 20 times to the North Coast, Cabarete area, but it never resonated. There was something about it that I didn't like. Could be all that. There's a lot of prostitution up in the North Coast. If you ever look up Sosua.
Yeah, we did, and that was one of the things that turned us off.
It was just got off. When I went there with my wife, eventually when we got married, she said, "You're crazy. I would never come here." But I saw potential in Dominican Republic. I just didn't know enough about it, and then I exposed myself to Punta Cana. Then I got exposed to Las Terrenas. Then I got exposed to like Piantini over here, what Santo Domingo really is, because people they think Santo Domingo is just like a war zone and it's all poverty and there's nothing here, and that's kind of what I believed. Furthest thing from the truth, right? So once I got exposed, then understood CANA, Punta Cana, I said, this is where things are going to happen. So let's leave Canada. And that was about 4.5 years ago now that I've been here. I still have businesses in Canada. I still have some real estate in Canada. I go back and forth, not too often. As time goes, that's diminishing.
So I wanted to ask you about the politics there. And only because my brother-in-law, Marlene's brother, lives in Puerto Rico. And there's essentially two parties there. They're entirely corrupt. The country, Puerto Rico, has really gone downhill in large part because of the corruption in the political arena. What kind of politics plays are going on, and have you seen in the Dominican Republic anything in that direction, or not at all?
I'm trying to think anything that would be notable to me that would affect me personally. What I can't say specifically, maybe I'm just not qualified enough to say it, but I don't feel it on my end, the corruption. I think it's happening outside of my pay grade. But I think the standard corruption that exists in politics must exist here.
Right. It's in general, it's everywhere, yeah.
Yeah, I just don't feel it's as blatant as it is now in North America. I think the people have the ability to fight back here. I think the country's in that growth stage where the U.S. is on the declining in desperation, or Canada's in desperation. These guys are not. So I can't speak to the corruption. If I get pulled over by a police officer on the way going to CANA, I have a couple options. I can take the ticket, which they'll give me, or I can give them the equivalent of like $10 and not get the ticket. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with giving them $10. I'm okay with that. Like, it doesn't bother me. Some people might look at it and be like, "Oh my God, it's so corrupt. I can't believe you took a tip." But when you're looking at politicians that are taking $10 million tips to pass a law so their buddy can open a business, I'll tip the poor police officer that makes $500 a month at $10. Right. There's times I will, if I see it, and we have people in San Domingo that work the lights, just to kind of make sure people don't park in the middle of the intersection, right? There's times I see the same guy when I drop my daughter off at school. If I get a chance and I'm next to him, I'll give him 1,000 pesos. It's $20. If I did that in the U.S. because a cop was doing a good job, they'd be like, "Oh, what are you doing? You're trying to bribe me." No, it's different here.
It's a different mentality.
Is there corruption? I'm sure there's a boys club at the top of this that are making a shit ton of money. It's not affecting me at ground level though. What they're doing is benefiting me, if anything, benefiting me in my real estate investments, my clients, myself personally. They're still benefiting me. Is that going to change?
they're all pro. The president there is very much pro
Yeah.
protecting Santo Domingo from Haiti, making
thank
sure the investments and all the money comes in. He's all I've read about him, and that's what he's all about.
Transparency.
And
Transparency is definitely at the top of their list. It's not that they're saying, I don't know anything about Puerto Rico, so I can't speak to it. It's not that they're saying, let's be corrupt and openly corrupt. Who gives a shit? Fuck everybody. They're not, it's not
Like
really
they do here.
that.
Like they do here.
They're saying, let's be more transparent. Let's give more information. The stock market, first publicly traded company, just happened last year, I think. So the stock market is growing. The financial institutions are growing. They're starting to provide mortgages to their citizens here. So people are able to leverage when they have their jobs. So all of these things that got the U.S. to like that first world status and all that affluence is starting here. So they need a level of transparency in that to achieve that. And they know that.
so that brings up two other questions. One is Haiti. I don't believe there are any mass number of gangs in the Dominican Republic, but it's just the opposite in Haiti. And I've read things and seen things where they're trying to cross the border and develop that gang mentality and the wanting to come into the country and start doing what they do in Haiti in Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
And I know they're building a wall. I know they're trying very hard to prevent that. Are they being successful with that?
So I'm glad I'm in you would say the epicenter. I'm in Santo Domingo. If shit's going to happen, it's going to happen in Santo Domingo. So it's good that I happen to position myself here this year in Santo Domingo because I can speak to it. Unless I saw it on the news, which I try not to watch the news. If I do watch the news, I watch it purely for entertainment purposes because it's like watching a movie. But unless I watched the news, I wouldn't even know that anything was happening in Haiti or anything existed. There was nothing here that made me feel any different. Okay, so that's the truth and the reality of it. The other part of it, my daughter goes to school with someone whose dad is in the military, in the Navy. So I was talking to him. I said, hey, should we be worried about this Haiti thing? He's like, Cash, absolutely not. Because it is a couple gangs that are starting some chaos, and there's not even Haiti's government that is starting the chaos. That Haiti's government is saying,
we don't have a government.
Yeah, they don't. But you know what's funny? I'm going to tell you something here. Make sure I don't forget to tell you. I was with an individual that floats in a very high circle who was explaining to me they do business in one of their biggest clients in construction materials and stuff like that is in Haiti. So there's a lot of affluence and a lot of wealth in Haiti as well. Okay. So he was telling me, Cash, do you know, and this was on Monday. When was I with him? Yeah, I was with him on Monday, this past Monday. He said, do you know, and the news is not talking about it, that Haiti is fully open now? Flights are going into Haiti. All the schools are open. The gangs have apologized for what they were doing, and the country's open. Do you know that? I said, absolutely not. He's like, I know that because I do business there, and I'm talking to everyone over there. He's like, the media won't talk about that. So,
wow, that's really interesting.
Isn't that interesting?
Here's what is the counter to that.
Well, we're hearing what they want us to know.
There's 2,500 policemen from about a dozen different countries, 1,000 from Kenya that are preparing to go into Haiti to bring law and order. Did you know that?
I didn't know, but I will actually get some verification on that. It makes
I saw that they were really, everybody was amazed that Kenya was going to be sending 1,000 cops because Kenya is known for their brutality and their abuse of the law, and the police in particular. And I was stunned when I saw that.
I'm going to ask about that. I'll ask somebody that will give us a true answer. So I'll ask about that and send you a message on it. But
so you had mentioned banks now starting to give mortgages out. That was another question we had is, if we don't have the total number of cash to purchase a property there that we want, how is the financing there with the banking industry for people who have a steady income?
Yeah, for sure. No, I think financing is happening a lot. Like I said, the market's opening up to that. The banking sector is growing at a fast pace here. So what I would do if you say, hey, Cash, I want to look at some options of, I'm going to buy this. I want to pull some money out. Because I want to do that with some of my properties. I want to pull some equity out. I'm going to chat with the manager at a few different banks, and you start to have that discussion. The financial system is linked because they use the same credit system that in the Dominican Republic that we use in North America. So Equifax and all those elements are all what they use to qualify you as a candidate for a loan. Okay,
that's very good to know.
So that's important. So in the Dominican Republic, North Americans, Canadian and US can be financed. If you're European, you can't be because they don't share the same credit system. So they have no means of verifying their credit worthiness. So that's positive. So they would connect you. Now it comes down to the basics. Same criteria you have in Canada. Debt to income ratios, how much you make, blah, 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 all that stuff, whatever you're used to now.
Okay.
So that is not, and I have actually gotten financing on something that I was buying about 3 years ago. I didn't end up using the financing because I sold it, but I was approved. It took me, I don't know, about 4 weeks. You get a pre-approval within a couple of weeks after they look at your file. There's a list of items that when I connect you with the person, they'll be able to tell you the list of items that they need, which is same list of items that you need to send to your bank in the US if you were getting financing. Maybe a little bit more. Maybe a little bit more if you're self-employed, just like, again, US if you're self-employed.
So would that apply to both existing properties that's already built and to properties that are under construction?
Under construction is a different thing, and this is they will finance when the property is almost finished. Okay, so and that was mine. Mine was pre-construction. They pre-approved me, and when I got to the point of the property being basically finished, so that you have to put some doorknobs on and finishing touches. They came in at that point when it's basically done, and then gave me a loan to value on they appraised it and gave me my loan at that point. But
So
one thing to note that's important when you do go for that financing is what I saw, at least in Las Terrenas, what I saw is that their valuations are off. So if you have something that's worth 300,000, I found that they were brutally off when they gave you their appraised amount because I know the market value of it. If you have something worth 300,000, I know it's worth 300,000 because I have a client that will buy something like that tomorrow, hypothetically speaking. But they were giving a valuation of like 175,000. So they were very conservative. And that speaks to kind of the way the Dominican Republic has been over the last couple of years. We didn't get nailed by inflation the way the U.S. did. And I was doing some reading on it to understand why that happened. Because there was in the downturns that they've had, they didn't turn to printing money as a solution to getting out of those problems. They changed some fiscal policies and they kind of went with the growing pains of it. And those growing pains, and that's why this president, I think, got reelected, is they stuck with that and that avoided inflation. They also never dropped interest rates. When we were at like 1 or 2%, we were still at 7.5% here in the Dominican Republic. So what happened here? Interest rates have gone up to 8.5%. 1.5% increase. However, to go in Canada, for example, we went from less than 2% up to 8%. So you've had a 400%.
Same thing happened here.
Same thing. So you had a 4%, 400%, 500% increase at times, depending when you got in. Didn't happen here. So again, above my pay scale, but I was just doing some reading on it, and that's how they were able to protect themselves in this, like right now what you're seeing happen in Canada, US.
So the pre-construction purchasing, what we've looked at always like
5,000 down.
5,000 down, 20% in 30 days,
and
then 40%, 60. Yeah, it's a progression towards when it's completed. You have to pay, these percentages.
Correct.
So how would the financing work on that?
There is no financing
would
on
that
that.
apply?
Correct. No,
that's what I thought. Okay.
The financing is going to kick in. What I was utilizing it for, and I can speak to my example again, is my financing. What I was looking to do was every pre-construction deal is different, as you've seen. Everybody has a different payment scheme for whatever reason.
Right.
I was looking to finance the final 30%. That was what I was looking to finance. So I was at 70% was paid. I was looking to finance the final 30% to pull that money from the bank. And I did get approved. It was 2 spots. I bought 2 bedrooms for in hindsight, I should have kept them, but I bought them for 170 each. I ended up selling them for 190 each, stuff like that. But what I was looking to do was finance the final 30%. I got approved for 50%. So I was able to pull some money out, but I sold instead. So it's always going to be that final percentage that you're looking to get financing on. However, I have convinced with some, spending some time on the phone with certain developers to say, hey, why don't you provide some financing on that final payment, whether it's 30 or 40%, because interest rates are high now in North America. So I have a developer in Las Terrenas, not in CANA, that was willing to do, on his final payment, he was willing to do 50% financing. Okay, so he was going to collect 50% during construction, and then the 50% remaining at delivery, he would do 4 years at 8.5%. 2 years ago, you say I'm crazy. Now people are saying, well, that's not so bad relative to what they're getting in Canada, at least, right? So, you can't get financing until the end.
Yeah, and 4 years is a very short time.
It is very
for
short
40% or 50%.
Prepayment,
That's a big bill every month.
that's a big bill every month, but people are, what I think, I've only had one person utilize it. What people are able to do in that scenario is there's no prepayment penalty. So if interest rates drop and they're able to pull some money out in North America, they can kind of leverage that. If interest rates rise and go to 12%, then it's not so bad. But, it's a way for them to purchase the property if they really want to, is kind of what we were trying to achieve.
Oh, you can just finance to the bank, right? This is the regular financing to the bank.
Well, but not on pre-construction.
Not on pre-construction. You can't finance the 30 or 40% to the bank.
You can. Are you talking pre-construction right now?
The final part only.
Yes, of course, and that's what I was doing. I was going to finance that final 30%. Yeah.
Okay.
Traditional loan, 20-year. I forget what it was now. 20-year amortization, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
Okay. 20 years through the bank would be a whole lot more doable.
Totally.
As far as the monthly payments,
Correct. Now, you know what they've done in Canada, actually, and I don't know if you guys are aware of it. You guys are pretty in tune with everything. What they've done in Canada, you're going to see a huge collapse in Canada. And this is what the developer friend I was talking to was explaining. They're 5-year terms. So they amortize at 20 years, 25 years in Canada, but the term expires in 5 years. So in 5 years, they must come back to the bank and either continue or find other financing. But what's happened is these people got tied in at 1.5%, 2%. Now their 5-year terms are coming due in the next year and a half, 2 years. They're going to be shooting them up to 7.5%, 8%. So there's going to be just a mass collapse in the real estate market over there. That's why I sold my home in Canada. This was ahead of this, but this stuff started, and I saw this coming. But it's just a point I wanted to share because Canada's sideways for that. People have praised Canada for the 2008 meltdown, made it a U.S. thing, but Canada's going to have a much worse meltdown, I think, in the next couple of years.
Yeah, they did that in the States. A lot of the banks did back in 05, 06, 07. They had these, I forget what the term was, but you'd get the loan and it'd be really low. I think it was balloon mortgage. You get the loan for the first 5 years, it'd be like 3%, then 4%, then 5%, then 6%. And then at 5 years, you had to pay the whole thing or refinance at a dramatically larger interest rate.
Yeah.
And a lot of people lost their homes.
What Canada was trying to say, their play was different, their spin was different, which pisses me off. Is they're like, oh no, we're collecting more of a down payment. We're qualifying the people more so than the U.S. did. Because apparently everybody was able to get a loan in the U.S. in 2005, 6, 7.
Yeah.
Over there, in Canada, they're saying they're qualified people more, and they got to put a minimum of 20% down, where the U.S. you didn't have to. So it's safer. But no, you're going to be foreclosing on people that are more qualified, but they still will not be able to afford a mortgage payment going from $1,000 to $6,000. It's not sustainable. So it's the same collapse. It's the same play by the same people at it, which you didn't see here. So tying back to DR, you didn't see that. When I'm saying 8.5%, it sounds very high, but is it really that high when it was only a 1% increase relative to a 500? It was only a 1% increase versus the 5-6% increase we're seeing.
Yeah, that was crazy. Wells Fargo was one of the worst of those banks that did it. But that doesn't.
Let's just talk about
right.
Sorry. We're on the same wavelength, so we'll probably get sidetracked a lot. Existing real estate. So existing real estate. That's what I'm looking at myself right now because I have properties here that I'm looking at pulling out a little bit of money to maybe do another property or another project or something along those lines. So I'm in that process. What I've been told is, yes, it can completely be done. Typically to the tune of 50% is kind of the max that I'm going to be able to pull out. Once you have your residency, Jose can explain this. Once you have your residency, you're able to get more. The bank looks at you in a more favorable light once you have that. They call it a cedula. Once you have that, they're going to look at you better. So that's another advantage for that residency. That's going to kind of push me forward to get that done. So that's something to keep in mind. If you end up buying something free and clear and you just own it, it's not that the money is going to be tied up forever and you're screwed. You will be able to get some money out of it and utilize it somewhere.
Okay.
Is what I've been told. I haven't been through it personally yet, though.
But don't you own property in Las Terrenas?
Yeah, I do. 100%.
Okay, because I remember you talking about that many times.
Of course, yeah. I own a large commercial property there that I purchased. I own a very large commercial property there that I'm looking at doing some warehousing type of business. I'm very bullish on what's going to be happening here in the next couple of years. So we're setting up a warehouse. I also own a penthouse right on the beach there.
In Playa Bonita.
In Playa
In Playa
Bonita, yeah,
Bonita. I
exactly.
don't remember.
And
Yeah.
I got a penthouse there. That's where we personally lived as well. And then I had another penthouse that was in Bonita Village that I just closed on Friday. I sold it.
Yeah.
And then now I have something here in Piantini, in San Domingo, that I'm going to rent. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to rent. I'm shocked at the rental rates here. They're phenomenal. And
Yeah.
I'm going to be building in Cap Canada. So I bought a piece of land. I'm going to be
When
building.
you say the rental rates are phenomenal, do you mean high
Unbelievable.
or low?
High,
Or
yeah.
there's just a
No,
really big
very, very
move?
high. Very high. I'm shocked. I'm hoping that we can. I'm pretty confident I'll be securing something probably in and around $10,000 a month. And I'm very.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's an expensive spot. It's $1 million spot, granted, but it's still a 10% return. You can't go wrong, and it's
Yeah.
it is a sign of what's here. That's the thing for me. And sometimes I forget how bullish the country is and how good things look here. So I have that. I'm not going to sell because I'm very bullish on where I located here with this unit. And then I'm going to build in Cap Cana because I really think Cap Cana hasn't even started to take off yet. So,
You
and
bought
that's
a
what we're going to
lot.
call home. I like that for home. I like that for my daughter. I like the security of it. I like, it's like being in Florida, but not being in Florida.
It's
Yeah,
better.
So we've really,
We loved it. We loved
Yeah,
it. We were
I
just
feel-
there. I told you. Yeah.
and we've been back and forth with, should we go down there and rent for 6 months and, really look and find the property that we want, or should we just buy and maybe sell it in a couple of years, move, or maybe just, get another property and do renting it out, Airbnb, whatever. We've been torn as to which is the better action.
But we also have to find the right property. And, we have a lot of requirements
Yeah.
because of our dogs and one ground floor. And, this is a lot of things that I think I've told you over and over again that's important for us.
Are you familiar with Green Village in Cap
I
Cana?
told about Greenville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you really like Green. You guys like
We
Green.
really do.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines. It doesn't have to be in Green Village, but I don't think there's much else in Cap Cana that mirrors that.
Yeah, at all. I mean, the villages in Punta, what's it called? And
Punta Cana villages have some as well.
Punta Cana
Yeah,
Village,
correct.
it's expensive too, isn't it? I mean, this is expensive.
It is different. See, like for me, I really want to live in Cap Cana because of the same things that you fell in love with. I think it hasn't started to grow at the rate that it's going to grow. Did you see El Dorado Water Park that just opened when you were there? Was it open yet?
I saw it in video. We didn't have a chance to get there, but I know it's amazing. I saw
It's the biggest water park in the Caribbean open there. They built a massive concert hall. I think it holds 3,500 people or 5,000 people. Elton John did the opening for it. The marina is there. The marina is bringing you a target market. Maybe at some point I've never had a boat or wanted to have a boat, but because there's a marina right there, maybe I want to have a boat now. The golf course, you got Punta Espada, that's right there. Jack Nicklaus, that's right there. Now Las Iguanas is opening, that's there. The development and growth is now pushing backwards, and I just feel it's an opportune time to get in and own real estate in Cap Cana. Punta Cana Village is more established. It's been around much longer because the Ranieri family owns that. They're the originators of Punta Cana. They're the ones that brought the airport to Punta Cana. So the biggest developers in maybe the Dominican Republic are part of that Punta Cana Village and Punta Cana Resorts. But it feels very suburby to me. It's not giving me that feel of being in the Dominican Republic, where Cap Cana gives me that feel still. And the streets are smaller, and it doesn't resonate. So I would never consider that because I really like Cap Cana. Do you know what I mean? So for me, it's if you really like Cap Cana, like if you love Cap Cana, let's say it that way, you can look at Punta Cana Village, but it wouldn't be the same thing. It would be a different feel.
We didn't get a chance to go in there.
Yeah,
but
I'll take you in there. Yeah.
We didn't get a chance to go in there. But Cap Cana, we were there. We even did the golf cart. We rented it one day. We saw an apartment, a 1-bedroom in the marina, right in the Golden Fishing Lodge.
Yes, the fishing lodge. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
We saw a 1-bedroom there. It was really nice. It's spacious. It was 1,700 square feet.
It was 370, I think.
Yeah, it was really, but it just it's on the ground floor. As an investment, maybe we're not sure, but
I couldn't imagine living in.
And we stayed in Punta Palmera. We love Punta Palmera, but it's extremely expensive there. I don't know if you've been there. Punta Palmera, have you been there?
I'm actually because I'm going to be in Cap Cana starting July 1st full time. I rented there because I want to be close to my construction. So I
So
want to
you
be,
rented in CANA? Did you
yeah,
rent a place?
I rented a place in Punta Palmera because
Oh,
I want to be close to my construction site because I'm building on a lot in Las Iguanas. I bought
I
a
know,
lot
I
and I'm
saw that.
building. So that construction is
So
going to
what's
start for me. I want to watch it. I want to be on site every day and document.
very
So
cool.
what's
So wait, let me ask you. So you rented a what? A one bedroom? I mean, you just rented a condo there, and I mean, you rented there in Punta Palmera.
I rented a 2 bedroom, so I know Punta Palmera very well. Yeah.
So what kind of rates are the rental rates in Punta
Outrageous.
Palmera?
It kills me. That was kind of your question. Should you rent or not? It kills me to rent it because
It's
I was
expensive.
going to buy in Golden Bear. That's why I know Golden Bear so well. Because I would rather buy something for a year and then sell it a year and a half later and not be dumping that. I'm paying almost $4,000 a month to be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
I
what I
got a
was
little,
We
wondering.
rent.
I negotiate
Let's see what's
a little bit less, but
yeah.
ballpark at
4,000.
4,000.
Yeah.
It's killing me to spend that money because it is expensive to be there. But I would
Yeah.
rather have bought something, but my wife was going to kill me. She said, we're not building a house and you're buying another one and then we got to furnish it. She said, just rent. But it goes against every grain of my existence to rent something for that much money. And
You just throw it away.
but see, here's the issue. It's not just the rent. It's I'm missing the appreciation as well in something that I would own. So here I'm
Right.
burning this money, but I'm also missing the potential appreciation on something at Golden Bear, which I was trying to buy. Actually, the penthouse that I think I told you about, Arlene.
Yes.
There's a
Yeah.
2 bedroom penthouse, top floor, unobstructed views of the golf course and the ocean and everything. It needs probably, I was estimating it out probably 65K I have to spend on it to re-gut it and make it absolutely phenomenal. That thing would be worth 750K. And it would take probably about a month and a half to 2 months for me to get it done. So for me, I was pushing, but it was like, stay married or buy that place because she was not happy. She's like, you're not trying to build 2 places. You're not going to try to build a villa and also try to construct this. I know it's not going to work. So I ended up giving in and renting, which is killing me slowly that I'm spending that money. So I
So,
think for
so that's
you,
why you were talking to me about that penthouse. That's why you mentioned brought that up for us.
yeah,
The penthouse.
that one is still available. I'm pulling that information. Nobody was working yesterday because of election, so everybody's slow. But I'm going to get that. I'm
I
going to
know.
send it to you. I think that is a phenomenal opportunity. And there's another reason why I loved it. And if you're able to secure this, it would be amazing. Is the owners of the property are very big developers, okay, in Punta Cana. They have a $200,000 loan that is transferable, okay, that is transferable. So what I was trying to do was well, it was a done deal. My wife kiboshed it. The 200K, I was going to have that transferred over to me. I was going to assume that 200K mortgage, okay, it was like a 20, I think it was like a 20-year amortization or something like that. I'll pull those details. Would have worked out like 1,700 bucks a month, something like that. 200,000, 200 and it was like 250,000 cash to get that done, take over that, and I was happy, and I would have renovated the place. I would have been very content.
That's the
with that.
penthouse you're talking about,
It was a
right?
penthouse, and with a lock off. So it's a there's two very similar to the one you stayed in Punta Palmera. So you know how Punta Palmera you could have entered in 2 doors. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? How it was like a lock off unit, and then one was like a 1 bedroom with a kitchen, and there was like a kitchenette on one side.
Exactly.
That's exactly what it was.
Oh,
And we were in the one
we
bedroom
loved
with
it.
the mini kitchen.
We
Okay,
had the ocean
I
view.
see.
So
So you
beautiful.
didn't have access to the other side. The door was locked.
No.
Okay,
We
so
only had
that's
one
what this is. This is set up exactly like that. So you have a lock off. So I thought this is perfect. If I'm not in town, one side is ours. I keep it, and the other side I can just keep renting out if we're gone for like 2-3 months, and we can just move our personal things over. The economics of it was fabulous, and the AC is included in the HOA. So
Right.
that's your biggest burn is your AC.
Yeah, I think our HOA was like 700 a month or something.
Well, no, in Punta Palmera. He's talking about this.
I'm talking about Golden
Oh,
Bear. I'm talking about
Yeah,
Golden Bear
Golden
right now.
Bear.
Oh, even about the penthouse in Golden Bear.
Yes, I understand.
I thought it
Yeah.
was
So how much is
It's the same floor plan.
Say again.
Yeah, that's what he's
It's same floor
It's the
plan,
same floor plan.
but it's bigger. It's much bigger. The floor plan is much bigger, and that's why I love it. The floor plan is bigger. It's the same kind of lock off setup. You don't have to redo it. I was doing it for us to live in, right? And unfortunately, I've created kind of a certain standard that we live by, so I had to bring that up to that standard, kind of similar to the way you guys are living. And
right.
but you could get away with spending 10 grand and paint it, polish up the floors, get the jacuzzi. There's like a plunge pool in there, get that all up to speed, get it all working. I could have got away with spending 5 to 12K, something like that, depending on what I wanted to do.
Right.
But I, in order to sell it to my wife, had to do a full gut right down, and they have vaulted ceilings. So what I wanted to do, kind of like behind in the picture there, I can see in your mirror, you have the vaulted ceiling. There's an extra 20 feet above me where the ceiling was. There was an additional 20 feet. So I saw some people that ripped that ceiling out and created a 25-foot ceiling, and that's what my
Punta
plan.
Barbera does the same thing with their condo, with their units like that.
You're talking about they took out
They do the mezzanine, they do a second floor, like almost.
they took out that ceiling and then they made a flat ceiling.
No,
To get the no, I misunderstood you there.
No,
like the ones that we
the Golden Bear has the flat ceilings. Okay, so what these people did is they ripped it all out, went right up to the top, and they had a nice flat ceiling, which I feel has a little more modern feel to it. That's what we were trying to achieve, and that's what I was going to do. So I was going to be gutting it all out, ripping out the ceiling, going all the way up. So my renovation job, which would have been 65K, was much more significant than if somebody bought it, painted it, polished it up, made it look nice and clean, and refurnished it. You would be spending, I would say, 5 to 12K. Of course, furniture is different, and there's tons of spots to buy furniture in Punta Cana. There are so many spots. Don't get confused with that. Don't.
Yeah.
And this penthouse is still available.
This one's amazing. It is. I would be happy you guys bought it. I would at least feel better about not buying it because it's phenomenal, and it kills me because you will be looking over my construction site, and that's why I loved it, because I could see my villa, so I would just need binoculars, sit on my balcony, and watch the construction happen. But I could not convince my wife for the life of me.
Could you send us pictures and videos of this place?
Yeah. I'll send
it sounds amazing.
No, it is really a good deal as long as especially with that taking over that 200K mortgage. That was just like a no-brainer for me, and that's because you don't have to get approved. It can just be assigned. It's done and over. And for me, that was the no-brainer part of it, is getting that. So as long as they're willing to still do that component of it, which I'll confirm, then it really is a no-brainer at that point. You're just going to know when it's the right deal and the right property, and then at that point, you move sooner or slower than you like. But make sure it's something that, because you guys are going to live there. It has to be something that you love, right? Obviously, you have. It's just I would hate personally to rent waiting, because you never know. It doesn't matter. I know the other broker said that great developers, the greatest of developers can be delayed, and sometimes that doesn't, because they're great doesn't mean they qualify as less risk. You don't want to be in something you rent it for a year. I feel you rent it for a year and they're 8 months delayed, right? And
you don't want that. If it's projected to be available March 2025, you don't want to have to wait till the following December and just keep renting and throwing money away.
Now you're in a position of having to renegotiate potentially with somebody that you're renting from, and the market's gone up more, so you left money on the table and you're burning other money. If the right place comes along that is finished for you guys in your situation, I think it's a good play. If you were just in no rush to come, you guys want to get here sooner than later. It seems like you're not in a rush, but sooner the better.
Yeah.
The sooner the better.
Well, the elections are around the corner. November.
Yeah, November.
Yeah. That's kind of like your
so
clock.
Fast.
Yeah, at that point. It becomes a really easy way to spend the next couple of years, that's for sure.
Well, that's what we're looking for. Not a lot of stress, not a lot of effort, we're both retired.
Yeah.
And we really don't want to do a ton of work every day. I know a villa would probably be a little bit more effort on our part to maintain.
Yeah. I'm going to be constructing my villa. I bought the land. I'm going to be documenting the entire process, because there's a lack of transparency for North Americans that want to build. So what we're going to be doing is I'm partnering with a contractor that has a ton of experience, and together we're going to be bringing like a very transparent means of how you build a villa here. What are the steps? What are the cost components? And I'm going to do that with my own villa. So I'm going to document the whole process, and with that is the launch of our construction company. So I would bring in our guys to give you the quote, break it all down, tell you exactly what it's going to cost, all those components. So you can feel and their English is phenomenal, just very professional guys. So I'm happy to work with them. So it will be a natural extension for me. So I'm on your side to get that price as low as possible. And that's what I see a lot from these brokers in town. I don't know who you met with or whatever, but what I've experienced is they tell you the price, and then it's kind of the culture. This is the price. But what do you mean? That's their asking price. I'm very clear with them. No, that's not the price. That's what they want to make, but we're going to negotiate less. I've had brokers, when I give them that concept, they're like, what do you mean? That's what he wants. That's what it's worth. I'm like, no, that's not how it works. So I'll
Yeah.
be negotiating down for you, and the goal is to have as little money out of pocket as possible. So you just put away your money, and we leverage. The only way to leverage that is bring the asking price down. So we'll push that asking price down. Hopefully, we can still leverage that loan, and that'll kind of be the process of how I'll go about trying to negotiate that. So
Mm-hmm.
don't worry that I'm going to try to push the price up or anything along that line. I approach it as if I'm buying it, always.
And that's exactly what we're looking for. And you sound like the perfect person for us to work with.
No, that's always been my goal, because that's kind of my origination. Me buying, me negotiating on my behalf to get the best possible price, and then I push it just far enough until I feel like I might lose the deal. So I get as close as I can to the best deal without getting like, they don't take my calls anymore, and I'm okay with that. I understand I know how to push that.
Okay. So,
The
find
view
out if
is
the
stunning.
property.
The view is stunning. Like the view is absolutely stunning. You will look down at when my villa is built. You'll look down at all, and you'll be looking at like multi-million-dollar villas.
Eden Rock. We went by there.
Yeah.
You know what? We were pretty impressed with that little galleria in Punta Cana where they have all the little shops and restaurants.
Yes, that's
Galleria.
great.
That was really cute, and we found a cigar. We found a cigar bar there, which is very cool.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah,
lot
it was
happening
really-
there. There's a lot. It's exploding. Like the
A
next
lot of
few years,
restaurants.
like if shit
Yeah.
goes away, like we're talking at the beginning, if shit goes the way we believe it's going to go in the U.S. and Canada, Punta Cana is going to explode. Like that. It's
Yeah, we're gonna have people migrating over there. Then they're gonna start setting up a wall to let the Americans in.
yeah, we have to stop the Americans from coming in.
See how they like it.
Yeah. Don't let them in. They'll screw us up.
Yeah. The plague is coming.
Yeah, I know a plague is coming, right? Canadians included in that now because they're getting crazy too.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thanks,
Thanks so
guys.
much.
No problem. Good talking to you.
Okay.
I'll keep you posted.
Okay,
Okay,
thank
I'm
you.
pushing for the info. So I
Okay.
have it. You'll have it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye-bye.
Take it easy.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
I hope you enjoyed that video. Long call. Hope you stuck in there for it. A lot of information. Great example of the sentiment here in the Dominican, in North America, guys. It's not good. So I did say it in there. Better to be a couple years early on this than one day late, because that one day late could spell disaster. Okay, this isn't some fear mongering and trying to convince you that hey, live where you want to live. I don't care. People are going to keep buying real estate here, and that's all going to be fine and dandy. My point is, if I'm able to resonate with you guys, you're able to understand what I'm saying. If I can help one person pull that trigger or take that step forward and not be scared, not staying in North America and living there because you're scared to invest in the Dominican Republic. You're scared to do something you're not used to. You're believing things that you're not meant to believe as a human being. So if any of my videos or any of these talks can help you take that step forward and change your life, which I assure you it will, that's the goal of these videos. Okay, so hopefully this helped some. Hopefully what I'm talking about was you were able to understand it and resonate. If you are looking at the Dominican Republic as an option, congrats, because it is a great choice. So many seasoned investors, so many wealthy individuals are looking at the Dominican Republic as a spot they want to move their families, where they want to invest their money. So I say it all the time, follow the smart money. That is the way to do this, and that's what we're doing here in the Dominican Republic. So guys, you're on the right track if you watched the video. If you're stuck in for the whole thing, thanks so much. Please leave some comments, ask questions, send me a direct WhatsApp, 1-519-567-1785. Guys, work with credible brokers. Do not start buying real estate from your local bartender or your local server. Remember, the market is not regulated. You want seasoned investors guiding you. It's not just about being a licensed broker. Having a license is not the thing that should qualify someone to help you buy real estate anywhere in the world. Okay, they should also be doing it too. They should be investors. They should be buying the real estate they're selling. If you're selling oceanfront property, own oceanfront property. If you're selling in the big city, own in the big city. If you're selling in Cap Cana, own in Cap Cana. These things are important, okay? You need to be buying from like-minded people that are understanding the feelings and emotions that go along with making those offers. Because myself and my team are the top negotiators out there. We are here to guide you and connect you with the right properties at the right price. That is key, okay? What our goal is to get you the best possible price and to get you a fair price, okay? When a negotiation is done well, both parties win. And that is what we strive to do. No one, and I mean no one, is gonna do it better than our team does, okay? That is the basis of what I've been doing my entire career, whether it is in my hospitality businesses, whether it's in signing leases. building, buying, renovating, whatever it is. That has kind of been the premise of what our company brings forward. So case in point, guys, make us your first phone call. Make us your first phone call when you are getting ready to purchase here in the Dominican Republic. Okay, CANA is an amazing opportunity. There's medical around, hospitals, best hospitals, amazing schools that you can choose from. All the major retailers are coming there. You've got furniture options across the board. You've got the ability to buy any sort of vehicle you want to do. Of course, here in San Domingo, where we're filming from today, you have access to more than what you have access to in North America. So don't get caught up in little things like, how do I buy a car? Do they have cars? Do they have furniture? Guys, that's ridiculous. Stop thinking about that. Stop wasting your time with that. I can guide you with that. That's easy, but don't make that don't waste any time on trying to figure out if you can buy a car here, if you can buy furniture here. Guys, there's more. We're not talking margaritas on the beach and donkeys here, guys. We're talking about a country that is moving into the realm of a first world country here. They're saying by 2040 we will move into the first world status. Okay, by 2040, that's not so long. But what I believe is going to happen much quicker than that. We've already moved into a developing country status, okay, to the second tier. Poverty levels are dropping. Used to be 40%, now it's 25%. I don't know, do the comparison with North America. I think North America's poverty level is increasing while ours is going down. So, so guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. If that helped, please let me know and send me a direct WhatsApp, anything you're looking for. Guys, let our team guide you. There's 1,000,001 brokers out there. Let our team guide you. Let our team negotiate for you. Let us open up our network of professionals to you, and we'll be able to guide you properly. Make sure you can find a place that you love where you live in the beautiful Dominican Republic. All right, guys, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for sticking in there. I know it was a long one, a lot of information, but hope you enjoyed it, and we will be talking to you soon. Thanks so much.